All right, welcome back from spring break. I hope that you had an enjoyable break and were able to rest and relax some, obviously despite everything going on out there right now. I know that some of your plans probably got canceled and all of that, but hopefully you're able to relax, get away from school for a little while, and now we're jumping back in for just a couple more weeks. So we didn't do 10.7 before break because of the quiz, and also sorry about not getting those graded yet. I enjoyed my spring break as well, and so hopefully they will be graded sometime today. Definitely by tomorrow I will get them graded. But as far as what happened before break, we didn't do 10.7, so that's the last section out of Chapter 10 that we're going to do. And then the other section for this week will be Chapter 11.2, and there'll be some worksheets to go with that. But as far as 10.7, you just have about 7 or 8 homework problems, and that's it. That's going to be due for this section there. So, enough of that. 10.7, interpret the discriminant. And at this point, you're probably already saying, what is she talking about? Well, if you remember back to our quadratic formula, okay, oops. Okay, our quadratic formula was, say it with me, x is equal to, okay, or, well, not the x is equal to part, negative v plus or minus the square root of v squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Hopefully you have that memorized by now. Okay, and I hope you didn't forget it over break. If you did, chant it a couple times, sing it a couple times, whatever you need to do, but don't forget it. Well, this inside part here, this b squared minus 4ac, okay, so the part that I've circled in red is called the discriminant. Okay, and that can give us a lot of information about a problem. So, we're going to be using this discriminant to figure out some important things. We're going to figure out how many solutions we have and how many intercepts we have. Okay, so using the discriminant of, and remember, they always have to come out of this form, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, okay? And these signs in here may change. They may be positive, negative, anything like that, and that's fine. Okay, so just keep that in mind as you do these. So, we're going to be kind of making a little table here, so give yourself some space. First thing here, we're going to have the value of the discriminant. All right, and within this, we're going to have 3 columns here. So, let's see, break this up pretty even, hopefully. All right, so the value of the discriminant, then we're going to have the number of solutions. And lastly, okay, your book says the graph, okay, we're not going to look at the graph, we're going to just say the number of x-intercepts. And I'll give you a little hint, these two numbers are going to be the same all the way down. Okay, this one's going to match this one, this one's going to match this one, and this one's going to match this one. So, value of the discriminant. All right, inside here, the value of this discriminant. So, the discriminant is v squared minus 4ac, right? Well, for this first one, we're going to look at what happens if it's greater than 0. So, if this is positive, okay, oops, sorry, if this is positive, we're going to show what happens here. Sorry, it just froze for a second. Now, over here, b squared minus 4ac, we're going to show what happens if it's equal to 0. And lastly, we're going to show what happens if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0. So if it's negative, we're going to show what happens there. So this will be the math that you do, and then you'll look at the chart and you'll say, is b squared minus 4ac greater than 0, equal to 0, or less than 0? And then that will determine your number of solutions and your number of x-intercepts. So if it's greater than 0, we have 2 solutions. Okay, SOLNS means solutions. Okay, if it's equal to 0, we have 1 solution. And if it's less than 0, we have no solution. Okay, those are your options. You either have 2, 1, or no. Okay, or, well, I'll get to that in just a second. Now, I told you these match. So the number of x-intercepts, there are 2 x-intercepts. Okay, this could be abbreviated as XINT, which is how I abbreviate it. So 2 x-intercepts if it's greater than 0. If it's equal to 0, it has 1 x-intercept. If it's less than 0, it has either, you can say no x-intercepts, or you can say 0 x-intercepts. Okay, the book is going to use 0. Okay, but I don't care which way you say it. Okay, just for a reference when you're checking your answers. All right, so you're going to be given an equation. Okay, the book gives you an equation, and then you're going to be responsible to find this and to say if it's greater than 0, equal to 0, or less than 0. So let's take a look at some of those. I'm going to grab a new piece of paper so we can refer back to this one on every problem. Okay, so we're going to start with number 4. Okay, so these ones say to tell whether the equation, okay, an EQ is for equation, has 2 solutions, 1 solution, or no solutions. Okay, so that's what it wants us to state. So we're going to start with number 4. So number 4, you're given 2x squared minus 5x minus 6 is equal to 0. So now, okay, what we do here, remember we're using the discriminant, so the whole time we're using this, sorry, not negative, I don't know what I'm writing here, b squared minus 4ac, okay? So that's what we're using the whole time. Well, b in this case is right here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write out what all my letters are. A is equal to 2, because that's the number in front of x. B is equal to negative 5, because that's the number that's in front of x. So b is negative 5, and c is negative 6, okay, because that's the number by itself. Now, I use this formula and I plug stuff in. B is negative 5, so negative 5 squared minus 4 times A is 2 times C is negative 6. Okay, so 5 squared is 25. Okay, that negative goes away because it's being squared. Now, negative 4, okay, now here, this is what I would do to make my math easier. I would go with 2 times negative 6, which is negative 12, times negative 4. Okay, the 2 negatives are going to go away, so that becomes positive. So plus 12 times 4 is 48. And now you just have to add that up, which is 73, I believe. Now, I have 73. Now, the important part here, this is greater than 0. Okay, if it's greater than 0, let's come back over here and look. Alright. There we go. Alright, value of the discriminant. It's greater than 0, so we're in this column. We want to know number of solutions. It has 2 solutions. So all I write, I don't have to know what they are, but I'm going to write 2 solutions, and that's the answer. Okay, this should probably be some of the easiest math we have done all year. Okay, because you're just plugging numbers in. Alright, same instructions. Let's look at number 6. (3m squared minus 6m plus 7 is equal to 0. So again, we're doing this b squared minus 4ac is what I'm plugging it into. Just out of habit, I'm just going to keep writing it so you guys can see it over and over again. I'm going to say what a is. A is 3, b is negative 6, and c is 7. Now I'm just plugging in b squared, so that's negative 6 squared, minus 4 times a is 3 times c is 7, which is equal to negative 6 squared is positive 36, minus, now again, it doesn't really matter what order you do this, but just to make my math a little easier on myself, 3 times 7 is 21, times 4 would be 84. 36 minus 84. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter what this number is. I know it's going to be negative. Okay, 36 minus 84. So I can do 84 minus 36, and I know it's negative. So that gives me negative 48. Negative 48 is less than 0. Okay, it's less than 0, so let's go back to our chart here. Let's check out what we have. So in this case, again, okay, we have less than 0, so come to our chart, greater than, equal, less than 0. We're looking for the number of solutions. There's no solution here. So I'm going to write as my answer, no solution. Alright, so we've done one that had 2 solutions. We've done one that had no solution. So you might be able to guess what our next one's going to be, possibly. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Number 16. Okay, and I'm modifying it, so it's a modified problem. Okay, because of what it started with here. So we're going to have 4x squared. Okay, I'm just setting up the problem in the form that we need it in. Plus 4x plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, so I just was setting it up in the proper form for you. Alright, so again, we'll be plugging it into b squared minus 4ac. Now, a is 4, b is also 4, c is 1. b squared, so 4 squared, minus 4 times a is 4, times c is 1. Well, 4 squared is 16, minus 4 times 4 is 16, times 1 is still 16. Well, that's going to be equal to 0. 16 minus 16 is 0. And just for the sake of habit, that's equal to 0. So now, what happens when it's equal to 0? Back to the table, greater than, equal to 0. In this case, it's equal to 0. Drop down to number of solutions, 1 solution. One solution, and that's your answer. Alright, so that's determining number of solutions. So now we're going to use the same thing to determine the number of X-intercepts that we have. Okay, so this will be the next little chunk of problems here that we have. So that is going to be stuff like 22 through 30. And let's see. We'll go ahead and start with 22. So this one, remember, write the instructions here. Find the number of x-intercepts of the function. Okay, it says of the graph of the function. We're not graphing it or anything, so just tell me the number of x-intercepts. All right, 22. Y is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 4. Okay, this one looks a little different. Okay, it's just set up a little different in this case. Okay, but it's the same thing. Okay, we could rewrite it if we wanted to. Just for clarity of looking at it, is x squared minus 2x minus 4 is equal to 0. Okay, we could set it up that way just for the habit. Again, we're looking at b squared minus 4ac. We want to know if it's greater than 0, equal to 0, or less than 0. So, a is equal to, well, there's nothing in front of this x, meaning a is 1. B is negative 2. Okay, the sign goes with it. And C is negative 4. So, I am going to plug it in, b squared, so negative 2 squared, minus 4 times a is 1, times c is negative 4, is equal to 2 squared, or negative 2 squared is positive 4. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, times negative 4 is positive 16, so plus 16 is equal to 20. And to keep the habit, this is greater than 0. So back to our chart. But now we need this bottom chunk, okay? So we're looking at it. We have the case where it's greater than 0, but now I need to come down to the x-intercepts portion, okay? Coming down to x-intercepts, this tells me there's 2 x-intercepts. So my answer would be 2 x-intercepts. Alright, and then 24. Y equals 4x squared plus 4x plus 1. Okay, this time I'm not going to rewrite it in like I did here in blue. Okay, I'm not going to rewrite it that way. I'm just going to leave it here like this. So, remember we're ultimately looking for b squared minus 4ac. Over here, a, I just read it off. A is still 4. B is 4. And C is 1. So now I plug everything in. B squared, 4 squared, minus 4 times A is 4, times C is 1. 4 squared is 16, minus 4 times 4 is 16 times 1. Oh, that ends up being the same problem like we did earlier. Minus 16 is equal to 0. For the habit, equal to 0. And then we come back over here to our chart, see what happens. So we're in the case where we're equal to 0. So I need to come down, equal to 0, drop down to the x-intercepts. That means there's 1 x-intercept here. So 1 x-intercept. Alright, one last problem, and then you guys can go work on these problems on your own and see how to do that, or how you're doing with them. I know it's odd, but I'm going to do number 25. Okay, just because it's got a negative in it, I guess. I don't know, just for fun. I do 2x squared minus, oops, this is supposed to be minus 5x plus 5. Alright, so again, I'm not going to rewrite it. I'm just going to leave it this way. Ultimately, we want b squared minus 4ac. So over here, A is 2, B is equal to -5, and C is equal to +5. Now plugging in, B squared, -5 squared, minus 4 times A is 2, times C is 5. -5 squared is 25. -4 times 2 is -8, times 5 is -40, so minus 40 equals -15. -15 is less than 0. So, back over here to our chart. Make sure we can still see everything, okay? Oh, trying to get it all on the screen. There we go. Alright, we're less than 0. If we're less than 0, come down here, less than 0, drop down to the X-Intercepts. Okay, and because your book writes it this way, I'm going to just write 0 X-Intercepts. Okay, because they just write the number 0, so 0 X-Intercepts. Alright, and that's all you have to do for those problems. Okay, if you have any issues with them, let me know. Okay, can't help you if I don't know what the issues are, or if you have questions. Sorry about that, just kicked the thing. So keep me updated on how you're feeling about this stuff. I'm just going to give you a few problems here for homework from this section. So the homework will be 3, 5, 7, 9, 23, 26, and 27. Okay, so that's all the problems there, and I hope you guys have a great day.